The role of an assistant director on a film includes tracking daily progress against the filming production schedule, arranging logistics, preparing daily call sheets, checking cast and crew, and maintaining order on the set. They also have to take care of the health and safety of the crew. The role of an assistant to the director is often confused with assistant director, but the responsibilities are entirely different. The assistant to the director manages all of the directors in development, pre-production, while on set, through post-production, and is often involved in both personal management as well as creative aspects of the production process. Historically, assistant to director was a stepping stone to directing work. Alfred Hitchcock was an AD, as was James McTee. This transition into film directing is no longer common in feature films. It is more common now for an assistant to the director to transition to a production management or producer role than to directing. Sub-roles. Often, the role of assistant director is broken down into the following sub-roles. The first assistant director has overall AD responsibilities and supervises the second AD. The first is directly responsible to the director and runs the floor set. The first AD and the unit production manager are two of the highest below-the-line technical roles in filmmaking, and so, in this strict sense, the role of first AD is non-creative. The responsibility is to keep the production on schedule throughout the day, communicate to the entire crew, and to maintain the safety and security of the staff and shot itself. An assistant director must be very good at estimating how long a scene will take. The second assistant director creates the daily call sheets from the production schedule, in cooperation with the production coordinator. The second also serves as the backstage manager, liaising with actors, putting cast through makeup and wardrobe, which relieves the first of these duties. Supervision of the second assistant director, third assistant director trainees, and the setting of background are parts of the second's duties. The second assistant director deals with the increased workload of a larger complicated production. For example, a production with a large number of cast may require the division of the aspects of backstage manager and the call sheet production work to two separate people. The third assistant director works on set with the first and may liaise with the second to move actors from base camp, organize crowd scenes, and supervise one or more production assistants. There is sometimes no clear distinction between AO2AD and AO3AD, although some industry bodies have defined the roles in an objective way. Others believe it to be a subjective distinction. The additional assistant director or fourth assistant director or key production assistant may have a number of duties. Most commonly, the AAD has two broad job functions. One is the contraction of the duties of an AD, where the AD acts as both second AD and third AD simultaneously. For example, a production with a large number of cast may pass the O2AD call sheet production work to that of the AAD, especially when the O2AD is already performing the additional work of a third AD. The other main use of an AAD is as an adjunct to the O3AD and O1AD for logistically large scenes where more ADs are needed to control large numbers of extras. The additional may also serve where the complexity of the scene or specialized elements within it require or are best served by dedicated AD in most respects equal to a first AD, directing and controlling a number of other ADs to direct action to the satisfaction of the O1AD and the director. A production assistant is one of the lowest crew in a film's hierarchy in terms of salary and authority. They perform various duties required of them by ADs. The sub-roles of assistant directors differ among nations. For example, the distinction between second AD and third AD is more common in North America. British and Australian productions, rather than having a second AD, will hire a second 2. AD experienced in the same duties, and trained to the same level to allow a division of the duties. 3. ADs in Britain and Australia have different duties from a second AD, and the terms are not synonymous. Calling the roll. One of the first AD's most important responsibilities is to call the roll, that is, call out a series of specific cues for each take to ensure that all cast and crew on set are aware of exactly what is going on so they can perform the particular role at the appropriate moment. Over the years, special procedures have been developed for this task to achieve maximum efficiency during shooting, which are usually some variant of the following: waiting on. They're not technically part of calling the roll. First ADs may keep the set focused by frequently calling out which department is responsible for a delay in rolling a take. If the lights need to be adjusted, the first AD calls out, waiting on lighting. If the actors are still in the trailer, the first AD calls out, waiting on talent, etc. However, such calls can be regarded as applying excessive pressure to the department in question. Final checks please. Once everyone is in place, and rehearsals and blocking have finished, the first AD calls out, final checks or checks. Quote, "This is the signal for any last minute adjustments, especially to hair, makeup, wardrobe and props." Traditionally, the first AD calls, "Quiet on the set." However, it is more common in current productions to hear first "Picture is up," followed by "Quiet please," to alert everyone that the take is ready and imminent. "Lock it down," or more commonly, "lock it up," is also a signal to ensure nothing interrupts the take. This call is crucial for third assistant directors, as this is the primary responsibility during a take turnover. While most ADs say both roll sound and roll camera, turnover signals both the camera and sound departments to start rolling. The sound department will roll first. After a second or two, the sound recordist will confirm that the recording equipment is running at the correct speed by calling speed or sound speed. Hearing this, the clapper loader immediately calls out the scene and take numbers so that these details are on the recording. Simultaneously, the camera operator or focus puller will roll the camera, and immediately the camera is confirmed is running at the correct speed, will call for the clapper loader to mark it. This is done by showing the slate on camera, and bringing the clapper down to make a synchronization point for audio and picture, with the slate quickly taken out of shot, and the camera refocused to repointed as necessarily for the opening framing. The camera operator calls set or frame to indicate that all is ready to capture the action. The responsibility to call action is shared by either the first assistant director or the director, depending on the director's preference. Action may be preceded by background action if extras must be in motion in the shot, which is called by one of the lower ADs as sometimes the first. According to SAG and AFDRA regulations, the director must never address background actors directly on set, so the ADs carry information from the director to background actors. Usually the director says cut, but camera operators may also cut to save film if they know the take is unusable. The operator may also call cut if the camera has rolled out, i.e., run out of film. The operator will not cut if there are other cameras still rolling or an interruption would ruin the actor's focus. After the director has called cut, the first AD will check whether the director is happy with the take, and conclude the roll with a direction such as going again or that's a take two if another take is required. If the director does not want another take, the AD will call check the gate where the film is exposed. When the camera has been checked, the call from the focus puller or camera assistant will be clear gate. Quote. Then, if that setup is complete, the AD may call "moving on" or "next setup." These announcements cue all departments and the ADs on set as to the next steps they must take. For example, reset, going again, and or back to one may require a reset of elements in the frame, extras, cars, anything that moved back to where they started, which the third AD will oversee. The above roll sequence can be varied by, for example, eliminating the sound calls and the clapping of the slate if the shot is mute or MOS. At other times, for expediency, the slate may be shown at the end of the take rather than the beginning. In this case, once the sound is rolling, there is an audible announcement of end board, so that the editing department knows to look for the sync marks at the end of the action. At the conclusion of the action, the director will still call cut, but the first AD will immediately call end board. Also that the camera and sound recorder are not turned off before the clapper is clapped. Also, as a visual cue to the editors, the clapper board will be shown upside down on camera.